Hi friends, we're back for our second week talking about optimism. Do you remember what optimism means? Optimism is expecting good things to happen or having a hope for the future. And I don't know about you, but optimism is kind of hard right now, isn't it? I know in our family we've had 2 kids who had COVID this week, and that's just yucky. It's not fun, and it makes it hard when kids are having to miss school, and teachers are missing school, and people are sick, and there's just a lot of things we don't know. Sometimes that makes optimism feel really hard. Or it makes optimism feel fake, like we have to pretend that everything is really good in order to be optimistic. But here's what I think. I think that we can be optimistic and talk about the things that are hard at the same time. And in today's book, we are going to meet a character who is very attuned to the things that are hard, to the things that are wrong, to the things that are bad. But there comes a point in our book today where the character will have a change of attitude, where he will go from being pessimistic to being optimistic when he realizes he has a choice to change things. So I want you to laugh along with me as we read this silly book. The book is called The Worst Book in the Whole Wide World. And I think we're going to enjoy reading it together. And then we are going to create a comic strip together using the character who's in the book. So join me as we read the book together.
The worst book in the whole entire world. This book is dedicated to all of the characters and authors who thought their book was the worst book in the whole entire world. It can't get much worse than this. You're welcome. The worst book in the whole entire world. Congratulations! You are now reading the worst book in the whole entire world. I bet you are wondering why this is the worst book in the whole entire world. Are you sitting down? Because you are about to find out why this book is the worst. Reason number 1. There is only one sentence on every page. Except for that page. And that one. Awkward. Reason number 2. Remember that super awesome red balloon on the cover? It blew away. Reason number 3. There are gross words in this book. Booger, stinky, toot, booty. Booty. Booger booty, stinky booty, toot booty. Oh no, now I remember. Do not turn to the next page. Seriously, put this book down and walk away. I'm leaving. Booger toot, stinky toot, toot booger, stinky booty, toot booger, stinky booty. I told you not to turn the page. Must we go on? Are you absolutely, positively, most indefinitely sure you want to keep reading this horrible, horrible book? You chose poorly. At least I warned you. Reason number 4. I am all alone. I am the only person, place, or thing in this book. That's called a noun. That's just great. Reason number 5. This book is educational. Is this book the worst or what? Reason number 6. You're not alone. Reason number 7. This book is not funny. Wait, what's that? No! Bye-bye, Booger Booty. Maybe this isn't the worst book in the whole entire world. Reason number 8. The end.
Okay, so I love that book. Did you laugh? Or did you even smile just a little bit in the middle of the worst book in the world? I hope you did, because it made me laugh the first time I read it. And I just love our little rock character, how expressive he is with his face, how he starts out so grouchy and so pessimistic and tries to point out all of the bad things about the book. But then even in the middle of the bad parts of the book, he makes us laugh a little bit, doesn't he? And then there's that point where things change for him a little bit. Can you think what it is? As I was reading the book, did you look for it? Take a look with me really quickly at his face, and as it progresses through the book, and then there's one image that pops up that changes everything, and his face changes. Look at this series of pictures with me really quick. Did you see it? Did you see what changed the grouchy, angry, sad, lonely faces of the rock? It was the pencil, right? The pencil came in and got rid of the bad guy. And the pencil came in and rewrote the story so that the balloon hadn't floated away. The pencil brought optimism. And so today we're going to use our pencils to create optimism too. We're going to create a 3-panel comic strip. In the first panel, we're going to draw our rock with some sort of pessimistic face, angry or sad or lonely, frustrated, whatever you feel like drawing. You could even write words about why you feel like that should be the yucky thing that you're thinking about right now. Then in the second panel, we're going to maybe introduce the pencil. Draw the pencil, or maybe a change of face on your rock. Maybe something will happen that will cause your rock to not be so angry or sad. And then in the third frame, we're going to draw our rock holding balloons, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 10. And each of those balloons will represent something hopeful or optimistic. And so we're going to look at all of the silly faces again and practice drawing a few of them. And then we're going to create our comic book together. So grab your journals, grab a pencil and some markers. That's all we need today. And let's draw together, even when we're apart. All right, let's take a look at our little rock man together. I've just compiled some of the images of him from the book, and I think he's just so simple and so fun to look at. We're going to learn how to draw him, but before we do that, we're just going to pay attention to the elements that the artist used to create him. Obviously, his shape is very simple. He is a rainbow and a line, almost just a half circle. And then his eyes, let's zoom in just a little bit. You can see on almost all of them that his left eye is bigger than his right. And that just kind of gives him a little bit of quirky personality, but almost all the way through, I think in every single illustration, his left eye is a little bit bigger than his right. So the artist has given him a body, he's given him eyes, he's given him a mouth, no nose. And the other thing that shows expression or emotion is the eyebrows. Sometimes the illustrator chose to use eyebrows, other times he didn't. And then finally, just very simple arms and legs. If you look at those arms, they're just lines with 3 little bumps, almost like a duck foot or like a W at the top and a V underneath. So let's just draw him a few times, and I'll keep this piece of paper showing so you can look at it while I'm going to draw a couple. And I'm going to draw mine with black Sharpie just so that it shows up for you, but you may choose to do yours in pencil first or in marker first. It's really up to you. So obviously, to start his body, we're just going to make a little rainbow, and then we'll put a little bottom on it. His legs are just 2 little lines with little teardrops on the side. And then his arms, let's see, I think I'm going to draw, I kind of like this one. I think this one is pretty funny and kind of shows that pessimism. So on this one, I'm going to do his arms out to the side with that little hand, and then he's got an arm down there with that little hand. The hand is really like a W and a U, but you don't have to even be that fancy. You could just do 3 fingers and call it done. Let's do that little face. We're going to do that left eye as a bigger circle and the right eye as a small circle, and then the eyebrows on top are really what make it, aren't they? And the fact that the illustrator put the mouth way over there at the side. Isn't that funny how the location of the mouth makes a difference about how we think that the rock feels? Like, look at him here. We've got that little rainbow and the bottom, and then a big eye and a little eye, and then a tiny dot for a mouth, because you can tell him go, ooh, there's something over there. What is he pointing to? I think this is what he was pointing to, the fact that there was nothing on the page, no words on the page. So just practice for a minute drawing some of the pessimistic, so some of the angry, sad, frustrated, lonely faces that we see. And if we look at it, most of them are like that. So pick a few, some that are interesting to you, or maybe make up some of your own. Maybe something like that. Maybe there's arms are outraged at all that is going on around you. Maybe he's stomping his feet. See how simply we can create a story, an emotion, just by moving a few basic shapes around? So take a minute. I'm going to draw a few more of these, and you can watch me while you just use your practice page to draw along. Now I'm going to draw some of the happier faces, some of the more optimistic outlooks of our little rock friend, and I've circled the ones on here from the book, but you might decide to make your own. Think about what your face looks like or feels like when you feel happy or optimistic. So make a few happy or optimistic rocks while I create some of my own. can leave your characters in black and white, or you can color them. I really like to use the side of the pencil. This is why I said actually a dull pencil would work better for this. I don't have a dull pencil, which is unusual for me. I usually have mostly dull pencils, but I had just sharpened all the pencils in my studio. So you can go ahead and color them to make them look even more like the book. And notice I like to go, remember how we've talked about cross-hatching in the past? I like to go lots of different directions with my pencil. You can even take your finger and kind of smudge it a little bit to soften it. Kind of looks a little bit more like our illustration guy here. And then you can grab your marker and color in that balloon, the thing that is good or optimistic or hopeful. So feel free to go ahead and color yours any way that you want, or you can save that for the very end. You might still be just practicing some of your shapes and some of your drawings. Let's talk about one last little piece of our comic strip that we could draw, and that would be the pencil right here. And in our book, all we saw was the end of the pencil. I'll go ahead and do that in Sharpie for you. Was the end of the pencil coming onto the page, creating a whole new story, right? And the way that our illustrator did it was by drawing one rectangle, two rectangles, and then a rectangle with a curve on the end. Boom, there you have your pencil. Now you can obviously make that look more like a pencil by the way that you color it in if you want to color it in. I currently only have an orange and a red and a blue marker on hand, but I could still get that idea. Do that in orange. Do my eraser in red. And you can still tell that that is a pencil coming in to change the story a little bit. All right. Feel free to practice that if you want, or just kind of tuck that back in the back of your mind. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do our final piece today. You may decide that that's all you wanted to do today, that you just want to keep drawing little rock men with faces. That's totally fine if you want to do that. But if you want to make your own little comic book, your own little mini graphic novel about optimism, we're going to go ahead and just draw 3 sections on a blank page in our journal. Now remember, do we have to be perfect? No. Do I care if those lines are straight? Obviously not. In the first one, we're going to pick one of the pessimistic faces, one of the grouchy faces. And as you do, I want you to think about something in your own life that feels yucky, stinky, tooty, whatever, something that feels hard or sad. And I want you to go ahead and draw your rock while you're thinking about that feeling. So for me, I might be thinking about the fact that my kids have been sick this week. I kind of like that very first picture, kind of the way that I feel. Just wah, wah. Sad. Sad for them. Wanting to take care of them. And I might just leave it just like that. If you want to take this to the next level, you could add a speech bubble. And you could write a word. You could write, sad about sickness. Or maybe mad about something you lost, or maybe worried about something. You don't have to write the words. Sometimes the picture just tells the story without the words. But if you wanted to do that, you can. Then in your second panel, I want you to think about how we might change that sad or see a good in that sad. So I'm going to choose, I kind of like this guy up here, how he's kind of looking up into the future thinking, or this guy has kind of, let's see, I'm going to put a square around those that feel like our character is saying, could there be something different? This is, no, that one is not quite there. Even this one right over here. The ones with the squares around them feel like, there could be something different. Could the pencil come in and change our situation? I
I'm going to go ahead and do this guy in the middle. And as I do, I'm going to be thinking, could something come in and change what I'm feeling sad or angry or frustrated about? Maybe here's where I go, what would need to be erased or changed to make my situation better? And then my last frame, I'm going to draw my rock with a happy face. And I'm going to do a big happy face. And I'm going to add some eyebrows. And I'm going to add some feet. And I'm going to add my hands going up like a C and a backwards C, holding on to several balloons, because I actually had 3 kids homesick this week, or home because of COVID. 2 of them were sick. 1, 2, 3, because I know that they're going to get better. So maybe you can come back and add a speech bubble if you want. Like this one might just say, And this one is a knowing smile that things are going to get better. We can be optimistic because we know that this will pass. And I can go back and just color in my comic. You can leave yours in black and white, or you can go back and color it in the same way that the artist colored in his very simple illustrations. And I kind of like how they move from no color in the first frame, and then we'll have a little color in the second frame, where we've got our pencil coming in, maybe changing the story. You might decide that your pencil isn't going to erase something bad, but maybe, I'll do it down here, maybe your pencil is going to write a new part of the story. I made that upside down V and a little bit of a point and then some W's to do the top of my pencil. You can even do something like that. You can have your pencil writing something new, something good into that hard place. And then our last frame, we still have our gray rock. Notice how I'm gently using the side of my pencil. See, I'm not holding my pencil up and down like I'm writing. I'm using the broad side of my pencil to shade in my rock. And I went outside of the lines a little bit, but guess what? That's why we have erasers. And then on this one, I can have it be the most colorful, the most hopeful, the most optimistic panel of my 3 panels. Now you don't have to stop at 3. You could actually write an entire comic strip. You could divide this up into lots of different blocks. You could turn the page and continue to write. You could write an entire story about how your rock moved from sadness or anger or frustration or pessimism to a place where your rock thought, maybe something could change, and then to a hopeful or optimistic ending. And maybe my rock here is going to say, yay! I sure wish that I could see what you create, what story you write, even with just some simple shapes and a little rock. Isn't it fun that we can tell stories just with a few little shapes? Stories about change and hope, stories of moving from sad and angry to possibility to positive. Well, I hope that you write a story about optimism too. And even more than that, I hope that you get to live a story of optimism. That we're all going through some hard things right now. And it is my desire that each of you would see a little glimmer of hope, and that you would see your story
turning into one with a good, happy ending. Well, the happy ending for this video is that I got to spend time with you and that we got to draw together even when we're apart.